Well, hello. So glad you could join us. Welcome to WVMO's community production of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. I'm Lindsay Wood Davis. The script you'll hear was first aired in December of 1939 on the Lux Radio Hour. It has been adapted and substantially rewritten for this WVMO production by our director, Mary Ellen Graff. Recording engineer is Buzz Kemper, who provided us the use of his renowned Audio for the Arts studios. Our editor and sound effects master is Paul Cargill. Like the cast members you are about to meet, they have all volunteered their time and their substantial expertise. Here, in order of appearance, is the cast of WVMO's production of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. Our narrator is Buzz Kemper. Ebenezer Scrooge is played by Todd Stebbins. Vaughn Au is Fred, Scrooge as a young man, and the third mourner. Bob Cratchit is played by Jeff Perry. Jill Bailey, Valerie Hine Hamstra, and Becca Reynolds are the carolers. Elizabeth Osen is the first charity worker, Jane Cratchit, Mrs. Fred, and the laundress. Ronald Robleski is the second charity worker, Fezziwig, and Old Joe. John Shivers is Jacob Marley and the thief. Steve Osen is the ghost of Christmas past and the second mourner. Henry Perry plays Boy Scrooge and Peter Cratchit. Ella Perry is Fan, Belinda Cratchit, and Turkey Boy. Mary Ellen Graff plays Mrs. Fezziwig. Liz Schneider is Belle, Frances Cratchit, and Mrs. Dilber. Greg Little is the ghost of Christmas Present. Joan Andrews plays Mrs. Cratchit and Caroline. Martha Cratchit is played by April Little. Tiny Tim is played by Cade Bailey. A.N. Other is the first mourner and Ben. The music for The Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come was composed and performed by Adam Graff. Additional piano was provided by Valerie Hine Hamstra. Those are our performers. Now, please, sit back and enjoy WVMO's community production of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol.
Once upon a time, of all good days in a year, on Christmas Eve, old Scrooge sat busy in his counting house. The door opened, letting in more cold.
Merry Christmas, Uncle. God save you.
Bah, humbug.
Christmas, a humbug, Uncle. You don't mean that, I'm sure.
I do. Merry Christmas. What right have you to be merry? What reason have you to be merry? You're poor enough.
Come, then. What right have you to be dismal? What reason have you to be morose? You're rich enough.
Bah, humbug.
Don't be cross, Uncle.
What else can I be when I live in such a world of fools as this? Merry Christmas. Out upon a Merry Christmas. If I could work my will, every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips should be boiled in his own pudding and buried with a stake of holly through his heart. He should.
Uncle.
Nephew, keep Christmas in your own way and let me keep it in mine.
Keep it? But you don't keep it.
Let me leave it alone, then. Much good may it do you. Much good it has ever done you.
There are many things from which I might have derived good, by which I have not profited, I dare say. And therefore, Uncle, though it has never put a scrap of gold or silver in my pocket, I believe that it has done me good and will do me good. And I say, God bless it.
You are right, sir.
Let me hear another sound from you, Cratchit, and you'll keep Christmas by losing your situation.
Sorry, sir.
Don't be angry, Uncle. Come, dine with us tomorrow.
Good afternoon.
I want nothing from you. I ask nothing from you. Why cannot we be friends?
Good afternoon.
Merry Christmas, Bob, and Merry Christmas to your family.
Thank you, sir. And Merry Christmas.
There's another fellow, my clerk Cratchit, with 15 shilling a week and a wife and family, talking about a Merry Christmas. I'll retire to Bedlam.
Scrooge and Marley's, I believe. Have I the pleasure of addressing Mr. Scrooge or Mr. Marley?
Mr. Marley has been dead these 7 years. He died 7 years ago this very night.
We have no doubt. His liberality is well represented by his surviving partner.
At this festive season of the year, Mr. Scrooge, it is more than desirable that we should make some slight provisions for the poor and destitute, who suffer greatly at this present time.
Are there no prisons?
Plenty of prisons.
And the union workhouses, are they still in operation?
They are. Still, I wish I could say they were not.
Oh, I was afraid from what you said at first that something had occurred to stop them in their useful course. I'm very glad to hear it.
They scarcely furnish Christian cheer. A few of us are endeavoring to raise a fund to buy the poor some meat and drink and means of warmth.
What shall I put you down for?
Nothing.
You wish to be left anonymous.
I wish to be left alone.
But, sir...
Since you ask me what I wish, that is my answer. I don't make merry myself at Christmas, and I can't afford to make idle people merry. I help support the prisons and workhouses. They cost enough. And those who are bad off must go there.
Many can't go there.
And many would rather die.
If they would rather die, they had better do it and decrease the surplus population.
You can't mean that, sir.
Good afternoon. I have work to do. Cratchit, show them out.
Saw 3 ships come sailing in on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. I saw 3 ships come sailing in.
Cratchit,
on
close the
Christmas
door.
Day
Stop
in
listening to that infernal singing. Send them away.
They've gone, sir.
You'll want all day off tomorrow, I suppose?
If quite convenient, sir.
It's not convenient, and it's not fair. If I were to stop half a crown for it, you'd think yourself ill-used, I'll be bound. And yet, you don't think me ill-used when I pay a day's wages for no work.
It is only once a year.
A poor excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December. But I suppose you must have the whole day. Be here all the earlier the next morning.
I will, sir. I promise. And thank you, sir.
Scrooge headed home. He took his melancholy dinner in his usual melancholy tavern and beguiled the rest of the evening over his banker's book. Then he headed to his gloomy suite of rooms. The night was cold and damp, and he drew his coat more closely as he walked. Once in his chamber, he closed his door and locked himself in, which was not his custom. Got into his dressing gown and sat down before the small fire to take his gruel. He heard something in the far end of the house.
What's that? A bell? But it couldn't ring itself. Humbug. Must be a draft. What's that? It's humbug still. I won't believe it.
Then it came through the heavy door and passed into the room.
Ebenezer Scrooge!
How now? What do you want with me?
Much.
Who are you?
Ask me who I was.
Who were you then?
In life, I was your partner, Jacob Marley. You don't believe in me.
I don't.
What evidence would you have of my reality beyond that of your own senses?
I don't know.
Why do you doubt your senses?
Because a little thing affects them. A slight disorder of the stomach makes them cheat. You may be an undigested bit of beef, a blot of mustard, a crumb of cheese, a fragment of an underdone potato. There's more gravy than grave about you, whatever you are. Mercy, dreadful apparition! Why do you trouble me?
Do you believe in me or not?
I do, I must, but why do spirits walk the earth, and why do they come to me?
It is required of every man that the spirit within him should walk abroad among his fellow men, and to travel wide and far. And if that spirit goes not forth in life, it is condemned to do so after death.
You are chained. Tell me why.
I wear the chains I forged in life. I made it link by link and yard by yard. I girded it on my own free will, and of my own will I wore it. Is its pattern strange to you?
Should it be?
Or would you know the weight and length of the strong coil you hold yourself? It was as full and heavy and as long as this 7 Christmas Eves ago.
Jacob, old Jacob Marley, tell me more. Speak comfort to
I
me,
have
Jacob.
none to give.
Oh.
I cannot rest. I cannot stay. I cannot linger.
But
I'm here tonight to warn you that you have yet a chance and hope of escaping my fates. Hear me! My time is nearly gone. You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
Is this the chance and hope you mentioned, Jacob?
It is.
I think I'd rather not.
Without their visits, you cannot hope to shun the path I tread. Expect the first tomorrow, when the bell tolls 1.
Couldn't I take 'em all at once and have it over?
Expect the second on the next night at the same hour. The third upon the next night, when the last stroke of 12 has ceased to vibrate. Look to see me no more, and look that for your own sake you remember what has passed between us.
The air filled with incoherent sounds of lamentation and regret. The specter joined the mournful dirge and floated out upon the bleak, dark night. Scrooge went straight to bed without undressing and fell asleep on the instant. Sometime later, Scrooge awoke.
Was it a dream or not? The spirit said on the stroke of 1.
The curtains of Scrooge's bed were drawn aside by a hand. It was a strange figure, like a child, yet not so like a child as like an old person. But the strangest thing about it was that from the crown of its head there sprung a bright, clear jet of light by which all was visible.
Are you the spirit whose coming was foretold to me?
I am.
Who and what are you?
I am the ghost of Christmas past.
Long past?
No, your past.
What business brought you here?
Your welfare. Take heed, rise and walk with me.
Out of the window? But I am a mortal and liable to fall.
Bear but a touch of my hand there upon your heart, and you shall be upheld in much more than this.
As the words were spoken, they passed through the wall and stood upon an open country road.
Good heavens, I was bred in this place. I was a boy here.
Do you recollect your way?
Remember it. I could walk it blindfolded.
These are but shadows of the things that have been. They have no consciousness of us. The school is not quite deserted. A solitary child, neglected by his friends, is left still.
That's me. Alone.
Wait, look here.
Dear, dear brother! Fan, it is good to see you. Why are you here?
I have come to bring you home, dear brother, to bring you home, home, home.
Home, little Fan?
Yes, home for good and all. Home for ever and ever. Father is so much kinder than he used to be. That home's like heaven. He spoke so gently to me one dear night that I was not afraid to ask him once more if you might come home, and he said yes, you should, and sent me in a coach to bring you. And you're to be a man, and are never to come back here. But first, we're to be together all Christmas long, and have the merriest time in the world.
You are quite a sister, little Fan.
Always a delicate creature, whom a breath might have withered, but she had a large heart.
So she had, you're right. I will not gainsay it, Spirit. God forbid.
She died a woman and had children.
One child. My nephew.
Do you know this place?
Know it? I was apprenticed here. Why, it's old Fezziwig. Bless his heart. It's Fezziwig alive again.
Yo-ho there, Ebenezer. Dick?
Dick Wilkins, to be sure. Bless me, yes, there he is.
Yo-ho, my boys. No more work tonight. Christmas Eve, Dick. Christmas Eve, Ebenezer. Let's have these shutters up before a man can say Jack Robinson.
Yes, sir, Mr. Fezziwig.
Scrooge watched his younger self and Dick put up the shutters and clear the desks away in a twinkling. Soon the fiddler came in, ready to play. Mrs. Fezziwig and her daughters set up a feast like you have never seen. There was dancing and merrymaking into the night.
Bless his heart, old Fezziwig alive again. One of his Christmas parties.
Pick your partners. Miss Fezziwig?
Yes, Mr. Fezziwig.
Shall we dance?
Of course.
There is Mrs. Fezziwig herself, looking younger than any of them. Oh, and the table is loaded with roasts and cider and pies. Oh, what a jolly time we had.
Come dance, Ebenezer.
How can I resist such an invitation?
That carefree young man with the light heart and the warm smile, do you recognize him?
Yes, merciful heaven, how happy I was then.
A small matter for old Fezziwig to make those silly folks so full of joy.
Small matter? Small indeed.
Isn't it? He spent only a few pounds of mortal money, and so much that he deserves praise.
It's not that, Spirit. Old Fezziwig had the power to make us happy or unhappy, to make our service light or heavy. His power lies in words and looks, in things so tiny that it's impossible to count 'em up. The happiness he gives is quite as great as if it cost
What is the matter?
nothing.
Something, I think.
I should like to be able to say a word or two to my clerk just now, that's all.
My time grows short. Quick, look!
It matters little.
Why, it's Belle. She was my betrothed.
To you, very little. Another idol has displaced me. If it can cheer and comfort you in time to come, as I would have tried to do, I have no just cause to grieve.
What idol has displaced you?
A golden one.
This is the even-handed dealings of the world. There is nothing on which it is so hard as poverty, and there is nothing it professes to condemn with such severity as the pursuit of wealth.
I have seen your noble aspirations fall off one by one, until the master passion, gain, engross you, have I not?
What then? Even if I have grown so much wiser, what then? I am not changed toward you.
No.
Am I?
Our contract is an old one. It was made when we were both poor and content to be so. You are changed. When it was made, you were another man.
I was a boy.
Your own feeling tells you that you were not what you are. I am. That which promised happiness when we were one in heart is fraught with misery now that we are two. I release you with full heart for the love of him you once were. May you be happy in the life you have chosen.
Spirit, show me no more. Remove me from this place.
I told you, these are shadows of the things that have been. That they are what they are. Do not blame me.
Leave me. Take me back. Haunt me no longer.
Scrooge was conscious of being exhausted and overcome by irresistible drowsiness, and further, of being in his own bedroom. He had barely had time to reel to bed before he sank into a heavy sleep.
I saw 3 ships come sailing in on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. I saw 3 ships come sailing in on Christmas Day in the morning.
Hi, this is Alder Jennifer Coor from the Monona City Council, where I chair the Community Media Committee. WVMO's community production of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol is exactly the type of event that has built such a huge following for Monona's own award-winning radio station. As a recent article in the Isthmus said, they call it the coolest little station in the nation for a reason. State and even national publicity has chronicled the station's impact and the success of its 3-pronged focus: community-owned, locally programmed, volunteer-driven. You can help keep WVMO going and growing by adopting one of the station's 100 watts. When this performance concludes, head to mymonona.com, enter Friends of WVMO in the search box, and learn how you can adopt a watt. What a great gift to the community you can make by supporting WVMO, the voice of Monona.
The holly and the ivy, when they are both full grown, of all the trees that are in the wood, the holly bears the crown. The rising of the sun and the running of the deer, the playing of the merry organ, sweet singing in the choir.
When Scrooge awoke, he got up softly and shuffled to the door. He opened the door to his outer room. It was his own room, there was no doubt about that, but it had undergone a surprising transformation. Leaves of holly, mistletoe, and ivy made it look like a perfect grove.
Come in and know me better. I am the ghost of Christmas present. Look upon me. You have never seen the like of me before.
Never.
Have you never walked forth with the younger members of my family?
I don't think I have. I'm afraid I have not. Spirit, conduct me where you will. I went forth last night on compulsion, and I learned a lesson which is working now. Tonight, if you have something to teach me, let me profit by it.
Touch my robe.
Whose home is this? I do not recognize this place.
Draw closer. It is the home of your clerk, Bob Cratchit.
Mother! We smelled the goose! It smelled so good, it had to be ours.
We were at the baker's, it must have been ours.
It smelled delicious.
What has ever got your precious father then, and your brother Tiny Tim? And Martha wasn't as late last Christmas by half an hour.
Here's Martha, Mother.
There is such a goose, Martha.
Why, bless your heart, my dear.
How late you are.
We'd a deal of work to finish up last night and had to clear away this morning, Mother.
Well, never mind, so long as you are here.
Sit down by the fire and warm yourself.
No, there's Father coming.
Hide, Martha, hide.
Behind the door.
We have returned.
Hello, Father. Hello, Tim.
Why, where's Martha?
Not coming.
Not coming? On Christmas Day?
Here I am, Father.
Oh, Martha.
We fooled you, Father.
Martha, I'm glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here.
And how did little Tim behave?
As good as gold and better. Somehow he gets thoughtful sitting by himself so much, and he thinks the strangest things you ever heard. He told me coming home that he hoped the people saw him in church because he was crippled, and it might be pleasant to them to remember upon Christmas Day who made the lame beggars walk and the blind men see.
Oh, Robert.
A Merry Christmas to us all, my dears. God bless us.
God bless us. God blesses everyone.
Spirit, tell me if Tiny Tim will live.
I see a vacant seat in a poor chimney corner, and a crutch without an owner, carefully preserved. If these shadows remain unaltered, the child will die.
Oh, no, kind spirit. Say he will be spared.
If he be like to die, he had better do it and decrease the population.
I give you Mr. Scrooge, the founder of the feast.
The founder of the feast, indeed. I wish I had him here. I'd give him a piece of my mind.
My dear, the children, Christmas Day.
It should be Christmas Day, on which one drinks the health of an odious, stingy, hard, unfeeling man as Mr. Scrooge. You know he is, Robert. Nobody knows better than you do.
My dear, Christmas Day.
I'll drink his health for your sake and the day's, not his. Long life to him. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. He'll be very merry and very happy, I have no doubt.
Merry Christmas.
Here is another celebration. Do you recognize this place?
It is the home of my nephew, I believe.
Are you thinking of an animal, Fred?
Yes.
Is it a disagreeable animal?
Ha! Yes.
Is it a bear?
No.
I have found it out. I know what it is, Fred.
What is it?
It is your Uncle Scrooge.
He said Christmas was a humbug, as I live and breathe. He believed it, too.
More shame for him, Fred.
He's a comical old fellow, and I have nothing against him.
I'm sure he's very rich, Fred. At least you always tell me so.
What of that, my dear? His wealth, it is of no use to him. He doesn't do any good with it. He doesn't make himself comfortable with it. He hasn't the satisfaction of thinking that he is ever going to benefit us with it.
I have no patience with him.
Oh, I have. I am sorry for him. I couldn't be angry with him if I tried. Who suffers by his ill whim? Himself. What's the consequence? He doesn't lose much of a dinner.
Indeed, I think he loses a very good dinner.
He has given us plenty of merriment, I am sure, and it would be ungrateful not to drink to his health. I say, Uncle Scrooge!
Uncle Scrooge!
A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to the old man.
Forgive me if I am not justified in what I ask, but I see something strange and not belonging to you protruding from your skirts. Is it a foot? Or a claw?
It might be a claw, for the flesh there is upon it. Look here.
From the folding of its robe it brought 2 children, wretched, abject, frightful, hideous, and miserable.
Oh, man, look here.
Spirit, are they yours?
They are man's. They cling to me. This boy is ignorance. This girl is want. Beware them both and all of their degree, but most of all beware this boy. For on his brow I see that written which is doom, unless the writing be erased. Deny it. Slander those who tell it ye. Admit it for your factious purpose. Make it worse, and bide the end.
Have they no refuge or resource?
Are there no workhouses? My life upon this globe is very brief. It ends tonight.
Tonight?
Tonight at midnight. Hark, the time is drawing near.
Scrooge looked around for the spirit and saw him not.
God rest you, merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. Remember Christ our Savior was born on Christmas Day, to save us all from Satan's power when we had gone astray. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy.
The 24 cast and crew involved in this community production of A Christmas Carol on WVMO are all volunteers. This is Elder Jennifer Coor from the Monona City Council. It is unusual enough for a city of any sort to have its own radio station, never mind one that has become so popular and does so much for the community every day. That success is based largely on WVMO's strong volunteer base. which is drawn from throughout the community. You can volunteer to help award-winning WVMO going and growing by adopting one of the station's 100 watts. When this performance concludes, head to mymonona.com, enter Friends of WVMO in the search box, and learn how you can adopt a watt. What a great gift to the community you can make by supporting WVMO, the voice of Monona. Now, back to A Christmas Carol.
The phantom slowly, gravely, silently approached him. When it came near him, Scrooge bent down upon his knee, for the very air through which this spirit moved seemed to scatter gloom and mystery. It was shrouded in black, which covered its head, face, and form. All that could be seen was an outstretched hand.
Am I in the presence of the ghost of Christmas yet to come? You are about to show me the shadows of the things that have not happened, but will happen in the time before us? Ghost of the future, I fear you more than any specter I have seen. Lead on.
No, I don't know much about it either way. I only know he's dead.
When did he die?
Last night, I believe.
Why, what was the matter with him? I thought he would never die.
God knows.
What has he done with his money?
I haven't heard. Left it to his company, perhaps. He hasn't left it to me. That's all I know.
It's likely to be a very cheap funeral, for upon my life I don't know of anyone to go to it. Suppose we make up a party and volunteer.
I don't mind going if a lunch is provided.
Well, I'm the most disinterested among you, after all, for I never wear black gloves, and I never eat lunch. But I'll offer to go if anybody else will. When I come to think of it, I'm not sure that I wasn't his most particular friend, for we used to stop and speak whenever we met. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Oh my, where are we now? A thieves' den?
Open my bundle, Joe. Let me know what it's worth. Open my bundle!
No, mine first.
Just a minute. What did you get of his? You first.
A seal, a pencil case, a pair of sleeve buttons, and a brooch.
That's your account, and I wouldn't give another 6 pence if I was boiled for not doing it. Who's next?
Me next. I was the old man's charwoman. Here, sheets, towels, 2 silver teaspoons, a pair of sugar tongs, and his boots.
I always give too much to the ladies. It's a weakness of mine. If you ask me for another penny, I'd repent of being so liberal and knock off a half a crown.
Open my bundle, Joe.
What do you call this? Bed curtains?
Ah, yes, bed curtain.
You don't mean to say you took him down rings and all with him lying there?
Yes, I do. Why not?
You're born to make your fortune.
Don't spill oil on them blankets.
His blankets?
He isn't likely to take cold without them, I dare say.
He looked down upon us his whole life. Ain't it funny how we now profit by his death?
If there is any person who feels emotion caused by this man's death, show me now.
Well, Ben, is the news good or bad?
Bad.
We are quite ruined.
No, there is hope yet, Caroline.
If he relents, there is. Nothing past hope if such a miracle has happened.
He is past relenting. He is dead.
To whom will our debt be transferred?
I don't know, but before that time, we shall be ready with the money. We may sleep tonight with light hearts, Caroline.
How can all these people be so cold towards this man's death? Spirit, let me see some tenderness connected with a death, any death.
My little child.
Don't mind it, Father. Don't be grieved.
Why, it's my clerk and his family. Why are they so sad? Someone is missing. Oh, dear me, it is Tiny Tim.
You went today then, Robert?
Yes, my dear. I wish you could have come with me. It would have done you good to see how green a place it is. But you'll see it often. I promised him that I would walk there on a Sunday. My little child.
Don't cry, Father.
But however and wherever we part from one another, I'm sure we shall none of us ever forget poor Tiny Tim.
No, never.
No, we won't.
Scrooge and the spirit then stood among the graves. The spirit pointed toward one. Scrooge advanced toward it, trembling. He dreaded that he saw new meaning in its solemn shape.
Spirit, help me. Who is the man that died? Is no one to mourn the poor creature? No one to follow him to the grave? Spirit, where are we now? Merciful heaven, a churchyard! How overrun by grass and weeds. It is choked with much burying. So cold, lonely, desolate. Spirit, before I draw nearer to what you point at, answer me one question. Are these the shadows of the things that will be, or the shadows of things that may be?
The spirit was immovable as ever.
Ebenezer Scrooge, am I the man who they spoke of? No, Spirit! Oh, no! No!
He clutched the spirit's robes.
Spirit, hear me! I am not the man I was. I will not be the man I must have been before this. Assure me that I yet may change these shadows you have shown me by an altered life.
Scrooge awoke in his own bed, surprised to find it morning. Looking around his room, he took all that had happened to heart.
I will honor Christmas in my heart and try to keep it all year. I will live in the past, the present, and the future. The spirits of all three shall strive within me. I will not shut out the lessons that they teach. The shadows of the things that would have been may be dispelled. They will be. I don't know what to do. I'm as light as a feather. I'm as happy as an angel. I'm as merry as a schoolboy. I'm as giddy as a drunken man. I don't know what day it is. Hello, yes. You there!
Yes?
What's today?
Eh?
What's today, my fine boy?
Today? Why, Christmas Day.
It's Christmas Day. I haven't missed it. The spirits have done it all in one night. Hello, my boy!
What?
Do you know the poulterer in the next street but one?
Yes, I should hope I do.
An intelligent boy, a remarkable boy. Do you know if they've sold the prize turkey? Not the little prize turkey, the big one.
What, the one as big as me?
What a delightful boy. Yes, my buck.
It's hanging there now.
Is it? Go and buy it. No, I'm in earnest. Go buy it and tell them to bring it here, that I may give them the directions where to take it. Come back with the man and I'll give you a shilling. Come back in less than 5 minutes and I'll give you half a crown.
Yes, sir.
Scrooge sent the turkey to Bob Cratchit. It was twice the size of Tiny Tim. Scrooge made merry, and the Cratchits never knew who sent the turkey.
My dear sir, madam, how do you do? Merry Christmas to you.
I
I beg your pardon?
My apologies. I was not in the right spirit when you last came to my office regarding a donation.
Indeed, sir.
Allow me to ask your pardon. Will you have the goodness to accept a donation in the sum of...
What? But Lord bless me.
My dear, Mr. Scrooge, are you serious?
If you please. Now, not a farthing less. A great many back payments are included in it, I assure you. Will you do me that favor?
Well, my dear sir, I don't know what to say to such a
Now, don't say anything, please. Come and see me. Will you come and see me soon?
We will indeed.
Bless you, sir.
Thank ye, I am much obliged to you. Bless you. Merry Christmas. I'm off to dine at my nephew's.
Merry Christmas.
The next morning, Scrooge rushed to his office, certain to arrive before his clerk.
Hello. What do you mean by coming here at this time of day?
I'm very sorry, sir. I am behind my time.
You are? Yes, I think you are.
It's only once a year, sir. It shall not be repeated. I was making rather merry yesterday.
I am not going to stand for this sort of thing any longer. And therefore, I am about to raise your salary. Merry Christmas, Bob. A merrier Christmas than I have given you for many a year. I'll raise your salary and endeavor to assist your struggling family. Merry Christmas.
Indeed, Scrooge took the lessons he had learned to heart. Scrooge was better than his word. He did it all, and infinitely more. To Tiny Tim, who did not die, he was a second father. He became as good a friend, as good a master, and as good a man as the good old city knew, or any other good old city, town, or borough in the good old world. Some people laughed to see the alteration in him, but he let them laugh, and little heeded them. His own heart laughed. That was quite enough for him. He had no further interaction with spirits. It was always said of him that he knew how to keep Christmas well if any man alive possessed the knowledge. May that be truly said of us, of all of us. And so, as Tiny Tim observed, God bless us, every one.
Our deep thanks for joining us for this community production of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol on WVMO. Deep thanks to our all-volunteer cast and crew. Whether you've listened on air in or near Monona, or online somewhere in the world, wherever you are, we wish you a Merry Christmas.
Wasn't that fun? Remember, you can help keep WVMO going and growing. Head to mymonona.com right now, enter Friends of WVMO in the search box, and learn how you can adopt one of WVMO's 100 watts. From the Monona City Council and its Community Media Committee, this is Alder Jen Kaur. Thanks for listening.